That is one of the most powerful tech laws. If you follow it, you will save yourself so many problems. So what if I told you your tech was stealing from you? Not in like the bank heist kind of way, just quietly. 30 minutes wasted a week adds up. If you're billing at $100 an hour, that adds up to $2,400 per year. And most businesses are not only wasting 30 minutes a week, they're wasting much more than that. And the fact is, most people want to blame the tech, but it's not the tech's fault that you're not using it to the best of its ability. And most people then say, okay, well, I could just find a better tool. But really, if you're using the first tool not to the most of its potential, then what are you going to do with the second tool? That tech is a soldier, not a general. Let me say that again. Tech is a soldier. Tech is a part of the building blocks of how your business operates, not the general saying this is what we need to do to operate. It's actually just going to follow the instructions you give it. So if you have tools that aren't performing to your standards, it means that your instructions are not up to your standards. I know, it's kind of a harsh truth.
You know I had to do it.
But I'm being for real, because after 10 years of consulting with businesses on their tech stack and their tech infrastructure, it's not because you don't know, it's because you don't know how. And the problem is almost never the tool itself. So I have put together 9 tech laws after my decade of consulting. They will guide you down the path to getting rid of that tech headache you've had for the last decade. So if you follow them, it's the simplest path to getting your tech to work for you and not against you. Let's get into it. Law number 1 is the simple answer is usually the right ones. And the fact is, it's the humans that make things complicated. So when I was a tech consultant, I would always ask everybody in the room, you always had these stakeholders in there, and everybody had their own idea of how things should go. And by the time we were done with the meeting, everything was much more complicated than it needed to be. And so the fact is that the law is that the humans are the ones that are making it complicated. The tech isn't actually doing that. And you know why? It's because we naturally are overthinkers. When it comes to tech, the simplest answer is usually the best answer, but that requires you to have to self-regulate your complicatedness. And I found that most people aren't able to do that, especially when it comes to tech. Law number 2 is workflows not tested to fail will inevitably fail, because life is imperfect and your system needs to be ready for when that happens. And I have seen this so many times where people build their workflows, they build their automations, they build their systems as if like, okay, this happens and then this happens and then that happens. But what happens when the second thing goes awry? What happens when the dog pees on the carpet and somebody leaves their post? What happens when your stove gets set on fire and all of a sudden you're having to go get sidetracked? And so when you come back, the workflow is not just in the perfect order, in the perfect way. What happens to your workflows? Chances are they usually fail. In terms of this law, all I'm saying is when you're testing your workflows, don't test them for when they operate as expected. Test them for when things don't go as expected. Then what happens? It's simple, but I swear to God, that is one of the most powerful tech laws. If you follow it, you will save yourself so many problems. Law number 3 is that it's not about the tools you choose, but how you choose to use them that really counts. The fact is that I have seen people go faster with a spreadsheet than people who have like a very robust Salesforce. And that's not because of the tool itself, it's because of how they're using them. And if you're able to use tools to get what you need, then you're going to go further faster than the people who have all the fancy stuff. So when I help people implement Claude in their businesses, I am not looking for the most complicated things to build, structures to build people. I'm looking for 30 minutes here, 20 minutes there, all these little places that we can insert AI to make your work week that much lighter. Law number 4, speaking of Claude, I always recommend people build one source of truth. If you haven't seen it, I made a demo video showing you me adding the Indiana Fever calendar to my calendar from Claude, because I have Claude connected not only to my calendar, but to my task management system and my email and all these other things. It's a fun demo, but it really shows you what you could potentially do, because when I'm working on my client projects, I am in Claude able to access every single different tool that I use to manage my clients' all from one convenient location or one source of truth, as I call it. Because tool hopping is not efficient, and it's like cooking a lasagna when your oven's only at 100. It's gonna take forever. So if you haven't seen that video, it's very fun, but it shows you what your life could look like and what one source of truth could look like. Law number 5 is that tech is going to simply follow the instructions you give it, good, bad, or ugly. It is a soldier, not a general. So the fact is that tech will perform as expected when you lay out the expectations. What does that really mean? It means that it's simply going to follow your instructions. So you better be clear about what those are. And the number of people that have come to me because they're like, oh, this isn't working. Oh, this isn't going the way I thought it was going to go. It becomes an inevitable question of, well, did you tell it that's what you wanted it to do? And it's like, okay, well, where is that written in the instructions? And it's not there. And the fact is that tech cannot read your mind. So you have to tell it exactly what you expect it to do. Now, the good news is that when you get your instructions crystal clear, you're going to use AI faster and better than anybody else in your competition pool. And you're already ahead of the game because you know the 5th tech law. The 6th tech law is to automate the boring stuff first. Everybody thinks that AI should just come in and take over everything. You got to rebuild your whole system. When really, like I said, if you pull 30 minutes here, an hour there, 20 minutes here, if you start tackling the small things, those things add up. Because even in my example, I literally just tackled almost 2 hours simply from picking apart 3 different tasks of 3 different workflows where it's like, hey, can AI take this off my plate? So people always want to implement AI by going for the big, they want to go for gold. They want the whole entire system completely redone. When really, if you integrate it into aspects of each of your functional workflows that you already have, you're going to save so much more time, so much more money. And the first place to look for these tasks are when you think of tasks that are just part of your day, like checking your email or checking your to-do list or checking your calendar for that day.
How am I supposed to focus with all this crap going on?
Which brings me to law number 7, which is every workaround that you accept becomes tomorrow's bottleneck. Because if you're just settling for hopping between all these different tools, task managing here, looking for this over there, having to hunt down all of the stuff that you're trying to consolidate into one convenient location, if you're settling for that as your setup, then inevitably you are setting yourself up to be stuck tomorrow. And the fact is that tech debt compounds like financial debt. So if you're not actively trying to get yourself into a better technical setup, then you're just waiting for it to become your worst nightmare. Which brings us to law number 8. If you're using these workarounds, it means that how it was supposed to be set up is not how people are using it. So the best system is the one that people actually use. So I have been on so many tech implementation projects where they're trying to redesign, they're reinventing the wheel, they're reclaiming this whole they're rebuilding everything, right? And all the humans in the workplace that are going to have to use this new system are just like a deer in headlights, and they're like, what? And so the fact is that if you're going to spend all this time, energy, money rebuilding something or implementing a tool, then you don't use it, that is not only the waste of time for what it took to set it up, but also the people you paid to set it up, and then all of the cost of the tool itself, and all of the time that it's not being used in the future. All of that comes directly out of your pocket. So the best tech is the tech that people use. There have been so many times where we built the best workflows ever, and the company did not take the time to teach people how to use them. And so we just had to sit on the sidelines and be like, well, good luck with that. And they wouldn't do anything. So we were just like, our hands were tied. There was nothing we could do. Oh my God, I can't even tell you, no matter how many times I explained what change management was, I swear, it was like I was speaking a different language. And speaking of a different language, law number 9 is is something I have said so many times, and I can't even tell you how many people don't listen. But if you're only going to listen to one law, listen to this one. You never automate a broken process. I once had a meeting with a potential client where they were like, yeah, we're trying to automate our whole business in 30 days. I was like, okay, so show me your documentation, show me your workflows, show me how your business operates. And they're like, oh, we don't have any of that written down. And I was like, well, your business is not going to be automated in 30 days. Simple as that.
This is a disaster.
That if you don't have a functional manual process where you already know what the variables are, you already know how it usually goes, then never automate processes that haven't been battle tested. Because if it doesn't work when a human does it, it's not going to work when the tech does it. And it's just going to break that much faster. So if you follow these 9 laws, I swear your tech setup is going to outlast every single one of your competitors, because tech is simply going to follow your lead. So make sure you are leading correctly, because the businesses winning with AI right now aren't the ones with the best tools. They are the ones with the best foundational setup. If you actually want to see what getting the fundamentals right looks like, then join my 5-day bootcamp where I help you implement Claude in your business and get a first quick win, so you can actually get a taste of what it looks like when you actually correctly implement AI into your business. That's your starting point. The link is down below. And if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, share, and hype the video. This is a new channel, so if you hype the video, that means that more people are going to be able to see it, and I can save more businesses from actually setting up their tech incorrectly, not because they picked the wrong tech, but because they're thinking about it wrong. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, I will see you on the next one. So